afternoon, Padawans. This is Straight Shooter, and I am at Team Sound Studios again for another episode of How I See It. Getting close to the 50 mark, hard to believe. Today, I'm really excited to do this review because Star Wars. My review will have spoilers, and I'm covering Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. It is my first Star Wars review. It's really been a heck of a ride for this franchise. You have the original trilogy, which of course I loved. The prequels were a bit bumpy. It had its good moments. It had its moments. And it had its are you kidding me moments. And then you have the new trilogy. Force Awakens was good. It was decent, but it was formulaic. Last Jedi, well, we know how divided the fan base is over that one. Now we have Episode 9, and supposedly the last canon episode in the Star Wars saga, or the current Star Wars saga. So it's taken 42 years to get to this point. 42 years since the first Star Wars premiered in theaters. The Rise of Skywalker has Daisy Ridley, she plays Rey. Oscar Isaac plays Poe Dameron. John Boyega plays Finn. Carrie Fisher is somehow in it posthumously. And it's pretty amazing what they did, the footage that they had to make it make sense in this movie. But it does. And then you have Anthony Daniels as C-3PO, Lando Calrissian, Billy D. Williams comes back. You have old characters, you have new characters. Palpatine's back. Yes, the Emperor somehow survived his ordeal in The Last Jedi, and ever since then has been quietly living off on a planet called Exegol or something like that. And he's been pulling the strings ever since. Evidently created Snoke and had his own essence in Snoke's body before Kylo Ren killed him in The Last Jedi. He's been building a fleet of Star Destroyers, and he's been waiting for the right moment to release them and start killing off the rebels and other civilizations and stuff like that. Basically, everyone is still trying to figure out how to defeat the Sith. Kylo Ren is trying to track down whoever sent a message from the Emperor, and then he finds the Emperor, and the Emperor tells them, I want you to kill Rey. He goes after her, they battle, they have some battles, and then she ends up stabbing him with a lightsaber, his own lightsaber, but she force heals him. And then he has a moment of clarity where he realizes that he doesn't want to be a Sith Lord anymore. He wants to fight on the side of Rey. She goes and finds Darth Sidious and confronts him, and Kylo Ren goes there too, and they fight him together. He drains their life force, or as much as he could, and Rey uses a last of her force ability to defeat him, and she collapses and she's actually dead. But not out actually, because even though we saw Kylo Ren fall from the Emperor throwing lightning and he goes off a cliff, they show him coming back up and he force heals her. They have a kiss, and then he collapses and disappears, and so does Leia's body. So that line is done. The Solo line, which includes Han Solo, Ben Solo, Kylo Ren, and Leia Organa. The Emperor is defeated. The Sith are no more. We also find out that Rey is Palpatine's granddaughter. But she renounces that, and the movie she goes back to Tatooine and visits the farm that Luke was raised on. And someone comes by and says, "Who are you?" She says, "I'm Rey," and they're like, "Rey what?" And then she has a moment of reflection, and she's like, "Rey Skywalker." So that's why the movie is called The Rise of Skywalker, because even though she was a Palpatine, she says, well, I'm a Skywalker. Because she basically is, because the Skywalkers are associated with the good side, the light side of the Force, and Palpatine is the Sith Lord, the dark side of the Force, and stuff like that. So yeah, they win. That's the end of the movie, and everyone reunites, and everyone's happy. And the dark side of the Force, the Empire, the First Order, or the Final Order, as they called it in the movie, are all destroyed, and everyone can live in peace. I think that the movie felt kind of safe. Okay, before I start that, let me first say the movie was very visually pleasing. The effects were really good. The battle scenes were pretty awe-inspiring. The acting was pretty solid. There were a lot of callbacks to the old movies, like where Chewbacca finally gets a medal, Han Solo shows up, Lando shows up, and there's a lot of like really cool nostalgia moments. And without getting into too much detail, let me just say that there were some surprises that felt pretty good. And it made you say, you know, this is a Star Wars movie and they're wrapping things up. And that's all really nice. But I felt the movie was kind of safe because a lot of the main story arcs and how they wrap up plot lines, I kind of saw coming. Like, okay, there's this one scene where they capture Chewie and they're taking him to his Star Destroyer in a transport. And Rey's on the ground and she tries to force pull the transport back. And Kylo Ren shows up and he's trying to fight her, and she shoots lightning out of her hand and the transporter destroys. She's like, Chewie, everyone thinks Chewie is dead, but soon after that they reveal that he's alive. And it was kind of predictable because it's not like they're going to kill off Chewie so unceremoniously like that. And the other part of the movie that I felt was pretty predictable was Kylo Ren, because once she force healed him and she told him, I wanted to take your hand, I wanted to take Ben's hand, I wanted to join forces with him, and she runs away, and he doesn't like try to kill her right there, I said, okay, so this is what's going to happen, right? Kylo Ren's going to turn good. He's going to help Rey. He's going to be there at the end facing the Emperor. And yeah, so, and the other thing is, like, okay, Palpatine said, I created Snoke. So Snoke was just a manifestation of the Emperor, which wasn't really too shocking because it's like, okay, where did Snoke come from? They don't really explain it because he's not connected to any existing Star Wars canon from before. But him being a puppet of Palpatine, you ended up saying, okay, whatever, okay. It makes sense, but it's not that, like, ooh, shocking or whatever. Rey's parents were killed by the Emperor. You didn't know going in, okay, you probably knew going in that Rey wasn't going to turn to the dark side, but the trailers make you play some tricks on you by showing an evil version of her. It turned out just to be like an illusion, a manifestation of her own fears or worries or something. You knew that she wasn't going to kill the Emperor out of revenge or anything like that, because she's Rey and she fights for the light side. And turning someone to the dark side that was a Jedi is something that they did early on in the series, and I didn't really see happening in this movie, and I was right. So that was kind of predictable. It was predictable also when Kylo Ren force healed her. They kissed, and then he dies. And even that was kind of predictable because I didn't think it was going to be like he was going to go back with her to the rebellion and he would be welcomed with open arms, because he's still Kylo Ren and he still killed people, fought for the dark side. I think having him die kind of like plays it safe and says, okay, well, that makes sense. There doesn't need to be any explanation. There doesn't need to be any confrontation. And the ending can just be about them celebrating the fact that they beat the Sith Lord and the Empire and all that stuff. It just seemed like every story beat that they were making was just kind of like, okay, this is logical, this makes sense. This is logical, this makes sense. This is logical, this made sense. Like they were saying, okay, we started the drawing, and this is how the drawing, needs to be in the end, without saying, let me mix this up, or let me try this, or, this could be interesting too. And as much as people bag on The Last Jedi, that's kind of like what I liked about the movie, was that they made some unexpected turns, like killing Snoke. And Luke was he was an outcast. He didn't care about going and helping the rebellion anymore. Because all the fan theories, Snoke was this, Rey's related to this, and blah, blah, blah. Like, they just said, okay, screw that. We're going to make the movie the way we want to make it. And truthfully, that's really what made Empire so great. Because look at all that happened in Empire that was unexpected. Darth Vader was Luke's father. Han Solo was captured by the Empire, frozen in carbonite. Lando Calrissian betrayed him. Leia was Luke's sister. I mean, you have that ending, which was just like melancholy. It was, wow, what's going to happen next? It wasn't a happy ending at all. That's one of the things that I really liked about the movie, was that it was unexpected. Same thing with The Last Jedi. And they just didn't really do anything that was out of left field or unexpected in Rise of Skywalker. And I get it. It's the last movie in the series, and they're trying to answer or apologize for all the fan backlash from The Last Jedi and say, okay, well, that's why this happened, that's why that happened, blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. But take some risks. Do something that fans might say, wow, I can't believe they just did that. But I guess that's probably a lot to ask for when Disney still controls the property. They aren't known for taking very big risks or raising the stakes. I mean, they did for Endgame, but Endgame was built up over 22, so many other movies. And they're retiring some superheroes and bringing more in. But they're actually supposedly ending Star Wars, or at least this series. So this is wrapping everything up, not just the original trilogy, but also the prequel trilogy and the current trilogy. So I guess they wanted to go for the feel-good, happy ending, which I get, but they also could have done some unexpected things along the way. But anyway, I think the movie was solid. I'm definitely glad I saw it. I think it's still better than most of the prequel trilogy. I'm not going to give the movie like a bad score, but I'm not going to give the movie a very good score, just because I thought it was what they probably said, okay, what will wrap up the series nicely with everything that we've already built up? What would make sense? How can we go out without too many shocks or surprises, but still wrap things up the way everyone thinks we're going to wrap it up? So that's what they did. They did probably what everyone thought they would. They did what they thought everyone expected them to do. They did what they thought everyone wanted them to do. And when you do that, you kind of sacrifice artistry. Because it's art when you do things that aren't expected of you. Like if someone says, I want you to paint a portrait of me, you can make it look like, just like me, just like my hair is, with my glasses, with my shirt, all that stuff, and make it look just, take a picture of me and draw it just like that. Or you could be interesting and add some stuff to it, draw a hat, or draw something on my shoulder like an animal or something like that. Do something that makes you say, that's interesting, because it doesn't just look like a picture, it looks like something's there that I didn't expect to be there. And that's what I kind of wish they did with the Rise of Skywalker. But let's be real, I'm still going to own the movie when it comes out on 4K. I'm probably going to see it again in theaters. Maybe a second, third viewing might change my mind. I doubt it though, because I'm one of those people that I call it how I see it. And how I see it is typically it sticks. So in any case, right now, okay, I'm not going to change it, but I'm going to give the movie an A-. That's how I see it, and thank you for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, comment, share, do whatever you can and want to do to spread the word. And so this is like pretty much the end of 2019. We got one more movie that I'm probably going to see before the year is out, which is Ip Man 4. Other than that, I guess probably the next one after that is going to be in February when Birds of Prey comes out. But I'll see you guys next time. Take care.